Welcome into Texas basketball, brought to you by Coors Light. And it's time for the 94th all-time meeting between the Longhorns and the arch-rival Oklahoma Sooners in this Big 12 battle from the Irwin Center. Taking a look at the conference standings, both of these clubs coming in with the record of 2-3 in Big 12 play. Welcome into the broadcast, everybody, alongside Lance Flakes. I'm Alex Loeb. Lance, both of these teams looking to bounce back from losses. When you're looking at the premier players, the go-to guys for the Horns and the Sooners, who are you keeping an eye on tonight?
Has to be James for OU, and of course Hayes for Texas, the super freshman. James has sort of taken over the reins, if you will, from Young, Trey Young, the special freshman who went on to the NBA at the Atlanta Hawks. And then, of course, Jackson Hayes has surprised America and especially the NBA. Every night, Texas has several scouts in the building. I'm sure they're here tonight to see this freshman. Every game he plays, he gets just a little bit better, does something a little better than he did the game before.
Some lineup changes to take note of for Texas. Courtney Ramey making his first career start in place of Elijah Mitchell-Long.
Ramey, this will be special for him against the arch rival in OU. His first start, he's got to show up, though, and pay big dividends to Shaka for having him start.
And for the Sooners, Jamal Bieniemy, the true freshman, making his first career start. So both of these teams trying to shake off losses with some changes out on the floor. Texas has not lost to Oklahoma here in Austin since Rick Barnes was the head coach in 2015. Here's Jackson Hayes throwing one up and in the Horns with the early lead.
Well, and they've got to be that aggressive every time down the floor and really attack the feet of this OU defense. Their defense is as special as any in the country.
Christian Doolittle driving into the paint. Sends it back out to Brady Manek. He likes to take the three early and often, but misses there. Texas coming off 3 straight losses of 6 points or less. Sooners, meanwhile, coming off arguably their worst loss of the season. Lost at home by 13 to an unranked Kansas State squad the other night.
Kansas State is extremely good ball club. That unranked doesn't say a lot. They got back Dean Wade, and they really embarrassed OU at home.
Lon Kruger, 10th most wins among active coaches for his career, sitting on 632.
Yeah, and Coach Kruger's been at just about every level, obviously. One of the better coaches, certainly a Hall of Famer with the career that he's had.
Roach with the in and out. Sooners averaging a shade under 74 points per game this season, driving in Rashard Odoms. Christian Doolittle from outside and sinks it over Hayes.
Yeah, this team here does a great job, OU, of playing inside the three-point line, have great size on the wing.
Miscommunication there, and Roach takes a tumble. Kerwin Roach got banged up in practice the other day, but he is suiting up, obviously. Tonight there were some questions. Would he suit up for this game? He is good to go, but turns it over there. Shaka Smart enters the game with a record of 60-57 during his tenure on the 40 acres. Again, Manek from the outside. And the book on him, the sophomore from Hera, Oklahoma, if he gets hot early, he will keep firing away. If he misses his first few, he'll abandon that for the next few quarters. He's 1 for 2.
You took the words out of my mouth. Manek can shoot the ball with range. You got to guard him early. You can't rotate out on him late. And to your point, if he makes shots early, it can be dangerous. You do not want him to get confidence. He'll open the floor up and create a lot of problems for Texas if they allow him to get going.
Averages 11 points per game. Roach working his way, throws it up to Hayes. Jackson Hayes making his presence felt early.
Well, Texas has done a great job of turning that into an art form. They missed the last one. It was broken up. Roach making the right play. You throw it around the rim, and Hayes will finish it.
Got the crowd into it. Here's Christian James trying to answer. And the Big 12's fourth leading scorer cannot. driving. And another turnover for Texas, but this one brought the fans out of their seat a moment ago.
Well, Roach actually had a layup himself, but he went for the higher percentage. Here you see, I mean, all he's got to do is take it right to the rim. I mean, this guy's practiced this day in and day out, throwing lobs to Hayes as he comes to the basket.
Texas with a couple of turnovers early, however. There's a miss for Oklahoma, scrum on the floor. And the Sooners able to retain possession. Doolittle whistled for the foul. This is an up-to-date dunk. That last one puts it at 47 on the year. 11 more for Hayes than Zion Williamson. That includes Williamson's dunks tonight. Not too bad.
Not bad at all. And the difference in length is scary between those two. Zion, I've heard a lot of people compare him to LeBron. LeBron is a lot longer, and it's probably not a fair comparison considering what LeBron has done in his career. But Zion is strong and big and powerful as anyone in college basketball.
As for Hayes, he's got both buckets for the Longhorns early tonight. Osikowski trying to split the D, and Manek rips down that board. The animated Doolittle falling down. Fans wanted to travel. That will be a foul.
Talk about Osikowski missing that first layup. I mean, you mentioned, we talked about Manek making his shots early. Well, Osikowski, I feel he has the same kind of temperament where I think if he can get himself in the game offensively early, you'll see a different player. A lot of times his struggles compound themselves and they exacerbate as the game moves on.
Osikowski was 5 of 13 Monday night against Kansas. Meanwhile, here's Christian Doolittle averaging 9 points per game. That puts the Sooners up by 3.
I mean, these Sooners, they're just so big. I mean, McNeese can leap with the best of them, coming off the ankle injury, but this OU team is really going to apply a lot of pressure to Texas because of their length and size.
From the corner, Ramey can't get it to go. Texas 2 of 5 from the field to start off. Driving to the bucket, Christian James. That one will be called off.
Well, that's smart by Texas. They're doing a good job of moving their feet and getting in place. We saw the one by Doolittle, and the nice help by Coleman. Got himself set. Watch the help.
You know, it's an Oklahoma team that lost Trae Young, obviously, but as far as the team is concerned, Lon Kruger has been very happy with their performance and effort this year, especially on defense.
Well, yeah, I thought they were extremely poor defensively, and that I thought was the catalyst to their fall. And they were ranked as high as 4 last year and ended up barely getting in the tournament.
Yeah.
Some people thought they shouldn't have gotten in, and they lost against a feisty and good Rhode Island team in the first round of the tournament. Texas is doing a great job of keeping themselves between the man and the basket.
Shot clock at 5. The enemy skip past to Manek in the corner, trying to find some room. Doesn't have any. Shot clock buzzer. And great defense from Texas there. Nearly forced the violation. Jace Febres in the game now for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and Febres has been great coming off the bench. He's a lot more comfortable, really stroking the ball. He was the difference in keeping them in the Kansas game.
That one off the back of the iron. Texas cold early on from the field. 2 of 7.
Ramey and Bieniemy, they just need to be solid for either ball club. That's all they're looking for. They have great size for the point guard position. Don't need any hero basketball from either one of those guys. Just solid.
Mismatch. Manek working on Febres. Can't take advantage. Coleman to Ramey. Comes up short.
Well, those aren't bad shots. Texas is just inconsistent with their three-point shooting. We saw them earlier in the season against K-State. When they get it going, they're as dangerous as anyone in the country.
To Money McNeese, Money in the paint. Talk about Ramey making his first career start, 0 for 3 to start off from number 3.
McNeese just got too deep on Osikowski. Got to push him out early.
Left all alone in the corner. Kerwin Roach delivers the tray.
Well, you mentioned left all alone. There's a reason for that. And Texas just needs to be consistent, knock down a few of those, and they can spread this defense and open up the floor.
Roach 27th on the all-time scoring list at Texas. Christian James with the long 2. Osikowski pulls down the board. Timeout on the floor. Texas has pulled back to within 2 thanks to Snoop getting it done from behind the arc.
And it started with him understanding what goes into being successful.
And the playbook.
It comes down to like really getting at it on defense.
Plus, some horn stop by and sound off.
Hard over height, man. The most successful I've been is when I played hard over height.
Game Plan with Shaka Smart. Monday at 7 on Longhorn Network.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
So many great players have been a part of this storied rivalry, Lance, as you take a look at some of them. Starring in the NBA right now, Kevin Durant, averaging 28 points per game in the league this year. Griffin and Hill to the Sooners. Marcus Aldridge having a heck of a season at 21, nearly 21 points per game with the Spurs. As we said, so many great players have come through these 2 schools.
Yeah, those are literally all-stars, with the exception of Hill, but it looks like he's headed that direction.
Febres was denied there. By the way, moments ago, Febres picking up an assist on that Kerwin Roach 3. That was Febres' first assist since November 30th, spanning 280 game minutes.
Well, he's a catch-and-shoot guy. Doesn't really create offense for teammates.
Snoop Roach, that one doesn't fall. To tie up there. Possession arrow, Oklahoma.
In mentioning Febres, the play before that, McNeese blocked the ball out of bounds on what he tried to make the lob pass. But again, the Sooners are so long and big. You've really got to make the extra effort to get around these long arms and size of these guys.
That Oklahoma defense, number 11 in the nation when you talk about opposing field goal percentage. And they were so disappointed in that last game, the loss to Kansas State, because they said for once this year, they didn't play strong D. Kind of overlooked Kansas State, and it came back to haunt them. As Texas's D forces the turnover.
Yeah, and they say that, and Coach Kruger is really emphasizing defense this year, but I saw that game, and Brown was very special for K-State, as was Dean Wade. The team that they had, K-State, early in the season is not the team that they are now. I think they're going to make some noise in the conference as things begin to settle in for them.
Shot the lights out in that game against Oklahoma the other night.
Yeah, I mean, and led from start to finish, as they should have. They just played an amazing game, so hats off to them. But both of these teams trying to recalibrate and get back in a winning way.
Up and now in the ball game for Texas. Shot clock at 5 for Snoop. Looking for some help. He's double teamed. Hayes out by the perimeter. Febres throws it up and barely grazes the iron.
Yeah, that ball's got to end up in Coleman's hands to go make a play.
Texas 3 for 11. They lob it down low to McNeese. He comes up short, jumps in for his own rebound. It's scooped away by Kamaka Hepa. Roach finds an opening. Doesn't get it to drop. And a whistle. Longhorn still down by 2. Texas shooting 27% from the field so far.
get the inside scoop on the players.
We couldn't get her out of the funk, so now we have to get her out of the gym.
And the strategy to win each week.
Just follow the game plan. If you have a shot, take it.
Plus some Longhorn insight.
The starting lineup has changed so much, but you know, the people who have been put in that position have made the most of it.
Game Plan with Karen Aston, Tuesday at 7 on Longhorn Network.
Texas football all the live long day. Hooker.
Well, fresh off fouling out against Kansas, Jackson Hayes in foul trouble early against Oklahoma, picking up his second moments ago.
Yeah, fouls can be an issue for this young man this year. But I don't think it's not only him, but it's also the officials who are having to call games and fouls with him in the game. And I think over time he will get better and get more comfortable. And at the next level, a lot of things we see as fouls at this level won't be called for fouls.
He's replaced on the floor by Jericho Sims. Aaron Kalixny back at point guard, finding Jamal Bieniemy in the corner. Got knocked over and a whistle. Texas back the other way. Both teams off to a cold start from the field. Texas 25%, OU 27%. And Febres with the airball. Well, at least Snoop has been hot from outside.
I won't get into predictions. That's a nice shot by Roach. But again, I won't get into predictions, but it's going to be critical for the winner of this game to make some shots from beyond the arc. Both of these teams can struggle from there. You make shots, it's a different game for you offensively.
McNeese turning in the paint, can't get it to go. Sims battling for it. Febres knocks it out of play.
Nice job finding Roach. When Roach can make shots from the perimeter with a level of consistency, it really helps his confidence.
Texas's three-point shooting has been better as of late, 37% over their last 9 games. Before that, they weren't even shooting 30% for the season from downtown. McNeese working on Sims, great pass underneath, but Miles Reynolds can't convert.
And a lot of that better three-point shooting is because of Febres. He's been at about 45% in his last 5 games.
Sims, that is his first shot attempt since December 15th.
Yeah, Sims just struggles when he's got to create, got to find ways to get him lobbed, get him a little space when they can run. He really struggles when he has to create and generate offense on the block.
Aaron Kalixny feeding McNeese. Again working on Sims. And again denied. McNeese been battling an ankle injury. The last month and a half held scoreless a couple nights ago against Kansas State. Snoop amongst the trees, and he can't miss early on.
No, he's very confident, and I guarantee you a lot of that's driven by the three he made before. You can't give him that much space. He's so athletic and long for his size. He can finish around the rim.
Texas on an 8-0 run, and they have grabbed the lead here in Austin.
Coors Light is cold filtered for brightness and clarity. The world's most refreshing beer, Coors Light.
Count it! Yes! Here comes Texas on the run. We got a ball game in Austin.
Ever wear a burnt orange suit, Lance, like Mr. McConaughey over there?
No, I mean, what would make you think I even have? I'm not that cool.
Only he could pull it off.
Thank you. Exactly. I'm not that cool.
It must be a good luck charm, because I'll tell you what, Texas has jumped in front, and all of a sudden OU has missed 10 of their last 11 shots. Is that more of Sooners' poor shooting coming to the forefront or Texas defense stepping up?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, we're not talking about a team that they're not juggernauts necessarily from beyond the arc. They shoot about 33-34%, so they're not really going to hurt you there. Where I was concerned for Texas is them using their size. And there you see Texas negated the size. That shot wasn't finished. I think that was Odom's under there. He couldn't finish it because of the length.
Osikowski thought about the three. Roach takes it and buries another. His third triple of the first half.
Boy, this is really big for Roach. I mean, he comes out, makes the threes, and again, it's like a virus. It just spreads through the rest of his game.
Kerwin Roach by himself is on an 11-0 run. Heck of a start for a guy we weren't sure was going to even play tonight after getting banged up.
No, he was banged up in practice, and he comes back the next day. I think a lot of it for Roach is in his head. You know, when he's got his head in a good place, he can be very special, and a lot of times it's impacted by how well he's shooting or not shooting. And tonight looks like it's going to be one of those nights for Kerwin Roach.
Played well against Oklahoma last year. In both games combined for 31 points. He's off to a great start tonight.
Yeah, and how about, you talk about last year, that game was played on February 3rd, 2018, less than a year later. All the changes. Young's gone, Bamba's gone. James for OU is playing a much different role.
Elijah Mitrou-Long, usually the starter replaced by Ramey in the lineup, but Mitrou-Long out there now with under 8 to play in the first half. Trying to weave his way through the defense. Shot clock at 10. At 5. Mitrou-Long has got to hoist it up. Not exactly the shot he wanted.
And I think that was created early when Sims was double teamed. Osikowski's got to get himself in a scoring position and make the defense pay.
Brady Manek with the miss, and Mitrou-Long has his arm hacked as he draws the foul. Special guest coming up next after the break. That young man, Sam Ehlinger, joins the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
Coach dishes on the players.
Snoop has grown so much, and it started with him understanding what goes into being successful.
And the playbook.
It comes down to like really getting at it on defense.
Plus, some horns stop by and sound off.
Hard over height, man. The most successful I've been is when I played hard over height.
Game Plan with Shaka Smart. Monday at 7 on Longhorn Network.
Texas football team being honored here at halftime. Sugar Bowl champs. We're now joined by the starting quarterback, Mr. Sam Ehlinger. Sam, congratulations on the Sugar Bowl victory. What have the last few weeks been like, kind of soaking that in?
It's been great. We've had a little off time, so I've been able to hang out with my family and relax. But looking back, I'm just so excited. It was a great game.
Congratulations, by the way. Speaking of family, your brother Jake announcing today that he has committed to Texas as a preferred walk-on.
Yeah, so he'll be joining me. He'll be on campus in the summer.
Did you ever play any basketball in high school?
Not in high school, no. I played in middle school, but in high school I played football.
Which of the guys on your team you think would have the best shot at succeeding on the basketball court?
Well, I do know, unfortunately, he's leaving, but Lil Jordan,
LJ,
he is an incredible basketball player.
And Sam, I want to know, what do you think, what was the impetus behind the success other than you this season? And you guys, you had an incredible year.
Yeah, I really think it was just everybody has really bought into the program. Having the continuity of having another year in the system and understanding what the coaches want and how the playbooks work, I really think that helped us succeed. Being comfortable with the system, and then once we knew what we were doing, we were able to just go have fun and play fast. And I think that was the biggest thing.
And then Talk about you, you know, I'm a basketball guy, so we do a lot of comparisons that, you know, certain players are like other guys. For example, last year, superstar Trae Young, a lot of people thought he was like Stephen Curry.
Right.
And so my question to you is, are there guys that you compare yourself to that have played at the professional or collegiate level that you think you're like?
You know, I mean, I'd like to be.
I know the name I hear a lot.
Yeah, the Tim Tebow one.
Yeah, you
get sick of hearing that?
No, I do not. Obviously, he was an incredible player. If I could win a Heisman like Tim Tebow, that'd be really cool. And obviously, he was very successful at both levels. So I'd take the comparison. I love it. But I would also. I don't necessarily pick one. I'd like to combine multiple skills from different guys. So I'd be able to throw the ball like Drew Brees and then run the ball like Cam Newton or a guy like Tim Tebow.
Wow, okay.
Rashard Odoms with the bucket makes it a 2-point game. You know, last year Mo Bamba publicly was praising you, saying how much of a fan he was. You ever played pickup ball against these guys, or are you a fan of any one of these guys that you watch play?
I really love watching Matt Coleman and Kerwin Roach play. I love their energy. I love how Matt just flies around. His hustle's always there. I've been a big fan of him since he stepped on campus.
Sikowski hustling underneath the boards, another rebound.
What other sports you like?
He's on tonight. Kerwin's on tonight.
You like your basketball and anything else you do on campus or play? Or?
You know, what do I like to play, or what do I like to watch?
Any spectator or play?
I do like basketball.
Okay.
I'm not very good at pool. I was playing this weekend, not very good. Yeah, I like to keep up with the basketball team for sure.
Interested in broadcasting? Want to do a little play-by-play here?
I would, but the problem is I don't think I do a good job.
No. By the way, and we'll get to this in a moment. We wanted to get to the reaction of your head coach when you made a pretty bold statement after that win in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl. We'll get to that in a moment as we wait for a break in the action here. From downtown, the Mish, courtesy of Jamal Bieniemy, and Oklahoma now 6 for 24 on the night. Texas playing Inspired D. Hey, did you see McConaughey over there, by the way, in the burnt orange suit?
I did, yeah.
What did he say to you guys before the Sugar Bowl? He was all amped up.
Oh, he was all amped up. I mean, every game he's amped up.
Does he talk to you personally?
Yeah, he talks to me personally. I've gotten to know him pretty well. He's always very encouraging, and it reminds us to stay in the moment and enjoy every part of it. That's usually his message.
He's in the moment right there. Look at that glare. I feel like he thinks he's a player sometimes. Or a coach.
Oh yeah, he's got the energy.
So we got some big games tomorrow in the NFL. You got any bold predictions? Speaking of Drew Brees.
Oh man, I don't want to make any predictions, but it's real hard to bet against Brady and Belichick in the playoffs. That's a real hard thing to do.
But that's not a prediction. That's not a back-ended prediction, huh?
No, it's not. Not a prediction. I don't know. I'll look into it tonight and try to make a prediction by tomorrow.
Have you talked to Drew at all? I know you wore the jersey. For the game. Texas taking over. Sikowski has been on fire over the last few minutes. Well, you know what? That's all the time we got, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Sam Ehlinger.
All right, Sam, best of luck.
Yes,
man.
sir. Thank you.
Great player.
We'll be back from the Irwin Center with more.
Shaka Smart's got the game plan.
You got to just be able to clear your mind, focus on the current play, the current moment.
Coach dishes on the players.
Snoop has grown so much, and it started with him understanding what goes into being successful.
And the playbook.
It comes down to like really getting at it on defense.
Plus, some horns stop by and sound off.
Hard over height, man. The most successful I've been is when I played hard over height.
Game plan with Shaka Smarts. Monday at 7 on.
I like the good looks again. All right? Keep attacking. Keep the energy high. Get your hands on the basketball down here. Hands on the basketball. We are winning down here. Give them nothing. nothing easy. Rebound with 5 guys together all night long. All right? Give them nothing easy. Here we go. Let's fight. Fight on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fight.
Well, a couple of things to get to, Lance. Since Sam joined us here, the defense has continued to suffocate Oklahoma's shooting, and Dylan Osetkowski offensively took off over the last few minutes.
Wow, Osetkowski sighting. I like it. That's huge for Texas. More importantly, in terms of the big picture for both of these teams, it's about defense. I mean, we talked to Coach Kruger today after the shoot-around. You were there, Alex. He said it. This is about defense. And then, of course, Shaka, the same thing. You hear it there in the huddle. I mean, just pressing guys to keep the energy up and apply as much pressure as possible. And Texas doing a great job so far. This game will be won on the defensive end regardless of who wins it.
Texas holding Oklahoma to just 28% shooting from the field. And there's Osetkowski again, trying to fight off McNeese. Falls hard to the floor, but he will head back to the free throw line.
Just a nice job guarding early. Gets his hand right in the passing lane. And you know, that's a little untraditional in that you got bigs making plays offensively on the perimeter. And that pass has got to come to McNeese as a bounce pass. He tried to throw it a direct pass on the wing with someone guarding him that closely. Osetkowski, and he did the right thing. How about the decision to get the steal and then attack the basket?
We saw Kerwin Roach by himself go on an 11-0 run earlier. Dylan Osetkowski has scored 7 in a row for the Longhorns. Make it 8.
Well, yesterday in talking to Shaka Smart, we asked him about winning games. He said, we just need to do one more thing of everything. Just one more thing. And one more time. And so I think we're seeing that today from his ball club. So he's got to be pleased. They've just got to sustain it against a feisty OU ball club.
Christian James, the 4th leading scorer in the conference, is now 1 for 7 to start off the night. Coleman draws the foul.
Yeah, they're just making it hard on their wings, and especially James. I mean, we've seen charges, which is telling you they're getting them, being Texas, into place, getting their feet set. And we've seen shots that are consistently contested.
Coleman makes the first. That ends a stretch of 21 scored by Roach and Osetkowski. The last 21 points before that free throw had come courtesy of just those 2 Texas players, Dylan and Kerwin. But Coleman puts in 2 from the line. Texas now on a 23-8 run. Christian Doolittle goes glass.
Yeah, and Doolittle, he's big and strong. Sims has got to do a better job of pressing up on him, not giving him that space on the perimeter. Those guys get ahead of steam, and they'll be able to create the space to get shots off. Got to guard him in a similar way that Osetkowski was guarding McNeese.
Roach hoisted up there. Sims pulls it down, and he goes glass. Jericho Sims with his first bucket.
Well, that's huge for Sims to see that ball go through the basket, especially with his confidence woes of late.
Doolittle answers.
There it is again. He guarded him. Sims did. Doolittle the same way. And let's see if OU goes back to that.
Coleman stripped by the freshman, Bieniemy. Zunkel, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy, former NFL running back, will be busy tomorrow with Kansas City.
Yeah, in his unexpected start. Bieniemy from Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston. His job and role today is to use that length and just be solid. Keep the ball in the right place at the right time and don't give up anything on the defensive end. He's got nice size for a point guard.
Shot clock at 10. Elijah Mitru long. Coleman fires from downtown, not close. Oklahoma will hold for the final shot. They are in danger of putting up their lowest scoring half of the season. Crowd coming to their feet here at the Irwin Center. Clock at 10. The enemy, guarded by Mitru Long, makes his move, dishes it off to James, bobbles it. Doolittle loses control. James from outside, yes! Christian James with a buzzer beater, and that ties Oklahoma's lowest scoring half of the season with 24 points. But Texas will still take a 5-point lead into the break. A mad scramble, chaos. But Oklahoma ultimately gets it to fall from outside the first half. Texas shooting 39%. The Sooners 33% from the field. Let's send it over to Lance, who's standing by with Coach Smart.
Coach, you got a 5-point lead against a very difficult team. The defense has been great. What's been behind that?
Effort. You know, guys just playing with active hands, getting their hands on the basketball. We've got to continue to make sure that we have active hands so that they're not able to make whatever passes they want. And then obviously when they do go to shoot, contest every time.
Coach, you've had some slow starts of late in the second half. What do you do to negate that and build on the momentum you've had here in the first half?
Same thing. Come out and play with the highest level energy we possibly can. Fly around, be aggressive on the offensive end, and give them nothing easy.
Okay, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Texas heads into the locker room with a lead of 5, led by Kerwin Roach, 13 points, and Dylan Osikowski, 8 points and 8 boards. First half highlights on the way here at the half. Ball brought to you by Coors Light. Longhorns holding a 29-24 lead over the Sooners here at the break. Texas going on quite a run to end the first half. Lance, when you look back at the first half, I mean, 2 players for Texas did most of the damage. Kerwin Roach and Dylan Osikowski, 72% of the scoring for Texas in that half.
Yeah, and I'd add to that, they did the offensive damage. Defensively, I thought the entire ball club collectively did a great job. But to your point, Roach was extremely special, very poised from behind the arc. And when he's poised and he doesn't have a lot of anxiety inside of him, he's pretty special for this ball club. And then Osikowski, he's had the yips for you golfers around the rim. But man, he's turned it on here in the first half of this ball game and really made OU pay around the basket, which has given this Texas ball club a huge lift. He's just been extremely impressive.
Osikowski, 8 points and 8 boards in the first half. As for the defense, Texas holding Oklahoma. They tied for a season low, the Sooners did, in a half. 24 points on 33% shooting.
Yeah, and I thought Texas would have trouble with what I call bully ball because of the size. But look at Texas getting out in the passing lanes, attacking the rim on the nice decision by Osikowski. They're just doing an excellent job of keeping themselves between the man and the basket, and it's paying huge dividends, Alex.
Taking a look at tonight's Cold Hard Facts presented by Coors Light. Points in the paint. Texas nearly doubling up the Sooners. And the Longhorns started off cold from the field, but they have picked up their field goal percentage to just under 40. And again, Kerwin Roach delivering all 3 of their trays. And the Horns in good shape as we get ready to begin the second half in a moment.
Well, it's not offensive artistry by any stretch of the imagination, but it is special defense for either ball club, especially Texas. Now the question is, can they sustain it? I asked Shaka about it going into the half, because they were leading against Texas Tech here at home. They did a great job against Kansas. They were leading at the half there, and early in the second half of those ball games, they struggled and gave up and relinquished the lead.
This is an Oklahoma team, as we said, have just 24 points at the half. They had been averaging about 74 per game, so the Texas defense doing a nice job in that first half. And especially when you talk about one of the Big 12's best players, Christian James, the senior, averaging 17 points per game, put up 20 the other night. He's already broken the 1,000-point barrier at Oklahoma. He's just 2 of 8 from the field, so Texas doing a nice job on Christian James.
Yeah, and Texas has done this historically. They did a good job on Culver. Remember the Texas Tech game? When Culver's the best player for Texas Tech, James the best player for OU. Texas doing a great job with him. What they have to be careful of is that the other guys don't get it going. We know that Doolittle can get a lot done. He's physical, play on the perimeter, can play around the basket. He's as dangerous as any for OU, even though he doesn't wear the tag as the best player like James. They just got to stay solid for an entire 40 minutes.
Second half underway. Again, Oklahoma swept last year by the Horns. They haven't won here at the Irwin Center since 2015. Osikowski going back to work to begin the second half, this time denied by 6'9" Brady Manek. Coleman over to Rainey.
They got to get a shot. Now's where you go create a shot when you're under 5 seconds.
Coleman gliding through the paint.
Well, that's what they didn't get in the first half when they tried to pass into a late shot clock situation. You got to have a guard like a Coleman who can create for you.
That is his first field goal of the evening.
Boy, the size difference with Odoms, I'm surprised he didn't try to attack Coleman.
Shot clock at 5 for Oklahoma. James spinning in the paint. Jackson Hayes denied him, but the follow-up by Rashard Odoms is good.
Yeah, and I thought Ramey gave up on that. You've got a gang rebound if you're Texas because they have such great size, this OU ball club.
They got Snoop on the way up. Take another look at Matt.
Well, you got them stretched out like you want them, and you've got to have a guard who can go make plays for you. OU with very poor help. And Texas can get that all night long in late clock situations. They keep the floor spread, and OU's not going to help. Typically, OU does a much better job of what they call shrinking the floor for offensive players where they can't have that much space to create opportunities for themselves.
Kerwin Roach up to 15 points. At 13 Monday night against Kansas. Texas applying the pressure defensively, and Oklahoma breaks it. James left all alone. Looked a little surprised. He had all that room.
Yeah, he did. He did the right thing. And Hayes, who didn't want to pick up the 3rd foul, also did the right thing.
Yeah, Hayes only played 5 minutes in the first half after picking up 2 fouls. Osikowski in and out.
And that won't show up in any box score, but how about Hayes keeping that ball alive on the rebound?
Roach working on 6'9" Brady Manek. It went halfway down and came back out.
Right play. You'll take that 10 out of 10 times.
Odoms picking up the slack. Now for Oklahoma. Tied for a team high with 8 points, and we'll head to the free throw line.
And Alex, this is what I thought we would see more of. Look at the size difference there. Odoms just walks him right down. There's nothing the freshman Ramey can do but foul. But if you're going to foul him there, you want to make sure he doesn't get the ball above his head and get the N1. You got to foul like a man.
The Texas native Odoms has had a hot hand, coming off a season-high 17 points Wednesday night against Kansas State. He's got 9. That one nearly poked away by Odoms. Roach had a look, passed it up. Coleman doesn't and buries it.
Great decision making, not only by Roach, but Osikowski to swing that ball. Nice rhythm. Texas really getting over their first hurdle, which was to come out in the second half and be solid.
Another look there as Roach collected it. Odoms hit the floor. Matt Coleman heating up.
Yeah, and Odoms took himself out of the play. That's why steals are really not a great measurement for good defense. As you saw it there, And he literally took himself out of the play and gave up a three-point basket. Got to stay solid and firm, typically as OU does on the defensive end.
Each team with 7 points here in the second half. Manek likes that shot. Misses badly.
Yeah, it's not who he is off the dribble. He's a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter.
Coleman. They'll get it to go.
This is like a boxing match. These two teams, they do such a great job with floor balance, staying in front of people. It's not easy in this environment to get a basket. Man basketball. That's just a grown man taking a kid down to the basket and landing in on it. There's nothing you can do there if you're Fevers but get help.
Rashard Odoms had more points in his last game than in the first 4 Big 12 contests for him combined. All of a sudden 17 against Kansas State. Got a team by 11 tonight. See if they get it back to him. And they do. He's 5 for 5 from the field.
Yeah, look at that. That's just bully ball.
There's his first miss. Not a wise decision. Roach feeds Hayes underneath, and he is hacked.
It was a great pass by Roach, but it was a better catch. Threading the needle right into the low pocket. He catches. Look how low this ball is. I mean, he just drops it that low. He's able to catch it in 5 o'clock rush hour traffic, get it up, and almost get the finish. Alex, that's why this young man's going to make a lot of money in the coming years. He does things that not many humans can do. And it looked like a simple play, but someone, a man of his size and length and running at that speed to be able to catch the ball that low and go up and finish all in one motion in traffic, that's just not very normal.
Jackson Hayes with an Oklahoma connection, by the way. He was actually born in Norman when his parents both were assistants for Oklahoma Athletics. As a matter of fact, his mom said she had to cringe the first time Shaka Smart asked her to do the hook'em side. As James buries one from downtown. He's got 10 on the night.
Yeah, that would almost be sacrilegious if you're an OU fan.
Matt Coleman, we've seen runs by Kerwin Roach, Dylan Osetkowski, and now Matt Coleman going to work in the second half. Horns in control.
College basketball on Longhorn Network, presented by...
You got to just be able to clear your mind, focus on the current play, the current moment.
Coach dishes on the players.
Snoop has grown so much, and it started with him understanding what goes into being successful.
And the playbook.
It comes down to like really getting at it on defense.
Plus, some Horns stop by and sound off.
Hard over height, man. The most successful I've been is when I played hard over height.
Game Plan with Shaka Smart. Monday at 7 on Longhorn Network.
The eyes of Texas are upon Longhorn Extra this week.
This our house, bro! This our house!
I can definitely feel his presence in the stadium. It really motivates me to be the best that I can because he's watching me at every second.
Go beyond the 40 acres for the stories you need to hear about the people who make Texas great.
The difference he's made in so many kids' lives, not just my life. In the streets of Baton Rouge.
Longhorn Extra this week, Thursday at 7 on LHN.
So far, it's been upset night in the Big 12. Taking a look at some Saturday stunners. Kansas went down to West Virginia was 0-5 in conference play. They won at home against Kansas. Texas Tech lost by 11 in Waco. So the 7 and 8 teams in the country go down. And number 20, Oklahoma, losing here at the Irwin Center.
I mean, Alex, it's Big 12 all over again, remix. This almost seems like a replay of last season. I mean, look at that. Texas Tech already lost a couple with Kansas. Kansas State, people have written them off. Not anymore.
They're coming back. All the home teams have won so far tonight in the Big 12. Christian James leading scorer for Oklahoma, starting to get going. He now has a team-high 12 points, and it's back to a 3-point game. Oklahoma outscoring Texas 14-12 so far in the second half. Osakowski working on Doolittle, draws the whistle.
I mean, how about the confidence that Coach Smart has in Osakowski to continuously go back to him? He's gotten a little bit of a rhythm, especially considering how things ended in Kansas. ISOing him and letting him go at one of the bigger, stronger guys in Doolittle.
Osakowski now with 9 points. Don't forget, following this contest, stay tuned for Game Day Final. Lance and myself will break down what is hopefully going to be a Texas win over Oklahoma here on LHN. You can also stream it live on the ESPN app. Texas Game Day Final. Osakowski now in double digits, 10 points. 8 of those coming in the first half. More importantly, Texas from the free throw line. They have struggled there at times this year. They're 11 of 12 from the charity stripe so far.
Yeah, and with Reynolds on the floor, since it's a different deal for Febres, as Febres fouls Reynolds, Reynolds is a different player. He doesn't have the girth that some of the other wing players like Odoms for OU, so you've got to guard him differently, and Febres got caught a little bit with his hand in the cookie jar, and Reynolds made him pay as he came off the screen.
Reynolds, the grad transfer, averaging 9 points per game. But that number has taken a dip in Big 12 play. Averaging less than 5 per contest in conference play. But a chance to hold the Sooners within 3, and he does.
Yeah, it's just different when you get to the conference, and OU has one of the better, if not the best, pre-conference or non-conference schedules in the Big 12 this year.
Hayes backs it out to Roach. Fresh shot clock.
Again, may not show up in the box score, but just such a benefit in so many ways that Jackson Hayes can help this Texas ball club.
Roach baseline. Febres feeding Hayes to Snoop. Doolittle gives it to McNeese. You can sense the tense atmosphere here at the Irwin Center as the crowd has seen Texas's lead dip to 3, and it could get closer as the Longhorns whistle for the foul.
And that's an example of what I mean. When he gets to the next level, that will not be a foul. That's why it's a little bit misleading. How is that a foul? And that this is not necessarily Homer talk. He owns the space above him. His hand's on the ball. And James puts it right in his hand. I mean, that's a good play at the next level.
He's already had 6 games this year with at least 4 fouls. He just picked up his 3rd and will take a seat on the bench.
I think special players are really difficult regardless of where you are on the floor. You can be a guard, a wing, or a big. In Jackson Hayes' case, I think they're hard to guard for officials. And typically a play like that at the next level, the official's going to bite his whistle, swallow his whistle, if you will, and allow the play to happen and then make the call or not make the call.
Hayes has only played 11 minutes. Coleman amongst the bigs.
Coleman can get just about anywhere he wants. I mean, he's become so much more efficient as the season has gone on. They'll need him making baskets like that.
Well, all of a sudden, Christian James, after being shut down, held to 5 points in the first half, has erupted here in the second half, and we are tied at 45. How about the block by Christian Doolittle?
That was a great block, and again, because of that length that OU possesses on the perimeter. I mean, typically that would just be a lob, but no need when Coleman can make the little runner. right back at him. James is such a great player. Texas will have to guard him the entire length of the game because great players won't stop coming at you. He's not going to stop shooting and looking for his shot. This offense is anchored around what he can provide.
Texas, all of a sudden, it's gone a little bit cold from the outside this half. Just 1 for 6 from downtown. Ramey, shot clock at 3.
This is a critical time for both teams. Not having James on the floor. Where do you get your offense from? Who's your offensive anchor? And also, you don't have the size on the perimeter you typically would have.
Oklahoma with their first lead since they took an early 9-7 advantage.
Right away, taking advantage of not having Hayes on the defensive end for Texas.
Osakowski left alone, but instead attacks the paint, and McNeese gets him up in the air.
That's a good job by Osakowski, keeping his body close to McNeese. He knows that McNeese can block shots. Very springy. He just shows him the ball. He's able to draw the foul and put himself on the line. And Alex, this is a chess match essentially right now between the two coaches in terms of who they're going to get offense from and who they've got on the floor.
The good news for Texas, they have now made 12 straight free throws. In a game like this, every one of them is going to matter.
Well, they send Febres to the bench for defensive reasons. And now they don't have the three-point shooter, or the best three-point shooter on the floor for Texas.
Osakowski with a big offensive board. Lee Trulong. Coleman loses at a rare turnover for him. Just his 4th in the last 7 games. And on the other end, Aaron Calixte. This is a kid who was their usual starter at the point, coming off the bench tonight, and responds with a big bucket there. The Sooners have jumped in front here in the second half.
Clear your mind, focus on the current play, the current moment.
Coach dishes on the players.
Snoop has grown so much, and it started with him understanding what goes into being successful.
And the playbook.
It comes down to like really getting at it on defense.
Plus, some horns stop by and sound off.
Hard over height, man. The most successful I've been is when I played hard over height.
Game Plan with Shaka Smart. Monday at 7 on Longhorn Network.
You're watching the Longhorn Network. Hook 'em horns.
Well, as if we needed a reminder, Lance, Texas has lost 4 games this year by a single bucket. And overall, 6 losses by 6 points or less.
Yeah, and they haven't had the blowouts that they might have had last year or year before. I mean, I think their worst loss was against Michigan State. They lost by 10, but there's still no moral victories. I mean, it's like the guy that has the career-ending injury and no slap at middle school or high school, but I mean, this story you can be told around the nation where games are close and you don't win them. Texas has to get over that hump, and that's what Shaka talked to us about yesterday. He just said we need one more of everything. That could be stops, that could be makes, that could be steals, and now's the time that's more important than any.
Shot clock winding down. Roach wide open from the wing and cannot get it to go, but Coleman's hustle pays off.
Yeah, and there you see the size issue as Roach has the nice finish around the basket with the lineup that OU has on defensively.
Snoop's got 17.
Bieniemy, Calixte, I mean, Reynolds, these guys are much smaller. And a little version of bully ball himself. You see Roach leans the shoulder in. Watch here, and Reynolds can't hold the ground and doesn't get his feet set. Absolute right play by Texas. They should have their own version. Again, I'm calling it bully ball. What I mean by that is being a lot more physical and aggressive in attacking the rim. They get these isolation one-on-one situations.
However, on the defensive end, Snoop picks up his 3rd foul.
Yeah, and he's a veteran, so don't be surprised if Shaka leaves Snoop on the floor with the 3 fouls. And he should know not to foul in that situation as Texas gives up the easy basket. They're not going down the one more path.
Oklahoma is shooting 71% in the second half. They've already scored more points in this half than they did the entire first half.
Yeah, not the type of resistance that Oklahoma had from Texas in the first half.
Bowman, 4 field goals in this half. Snoop with the miss.
Texas doing a good job of going back to the hot hand tonight. Whoever's got it, they're spoon feeding that guy.
Another whistle. Let's see if they got Hayes for number 4.
No, that was on
They'll get
Long.
beat through Long. Oklahoma outscoring the Horns 28-19 in this half.
Yeah, it's the points, but below that, the 10 for 14. Why they're getting easier looks. Don't have quite the pressure on them that they had in the first half. Texas has to adjust.
Sooners 9 for 9 from the free throw line tonight. Just 2 players in double figures for Oklahoma. James with 17, Odoms with 11. First miss of the night from the charity stripe. Roach lobs it up for Hayes, pulls it down, and draws the foul.
And it's a little thing, but that was an example, 1, of what Hayes offers you when he's on the floor, and 2, when that foul was called, the official let the play happen. Just, you see the arm goes up after the fact. It's almost like a 7-second or 2-second, if you will, delay before the call is made. I don't think the young fella gets the benefit of the doubt in that way, as we saw earlier on his block/foul.
Christian Doolittle picked up his 3rd foul. 3 different Sooners. Each have 3 fouls.
Yeah, and with Calixte back in the game and the perimeter that they have, they're so good at taking care of the ball. Part of the reason they're back in this game is because of their efficiency. Only 4 turnovers tonight.
Christian James denied by Jackson Hayes.
The big fella trying to, as in James, trying to force the issue. Not going to win that battle against Hayes. He's just too long.
That woke the crowd up, and then there's Snoop delivering in the paint. 19 points for Roach. Berlin Center starting to come alive with less than 10 to play.
Yeah, finally they get some crowd action involved in this. But if I'm OU, I don't want to attack Hayes. I'm going to go away from him.
Manek with the miss.
Contrarily, if I'm Texas, I want to attack Manek. I mean, Manek isn't the greatest defender.
Coleman baseline. Bailed out with a kick ball.
I mean, that's a big time play there. He takes care of the space around the rim and then all the way to the basket.
There he is, McConaughey. He's part of the coaching staff saying, get up, fellas, get up.
He's literally involved in the game.
Oh, yes, he's in the huddles.
I mean, he's still in the... That's great. That's great.
Coach McConaughey sees his team pull within 1. And take the lead.
Wow. see Roach? He was like in suspended. He almost held himself there and allowed Odoms to pass him by.
Suspended animation. Yeah. Got a game high 21. McNeese all alone as Hayes fell down, but still can't get it to go.
Help by Febres. Hats off. Hayes falls, but how about the presence of mind to come help?
And throws it down on the other end. Texas regains the lead. They're up by 3 with just over 8 to play.
Yeah, and potentially a little bit of help from the crowd on the defensive end. That can impact the game if they can get just a light assist with a little intensity here on the defensive end from the crowd.
Fans on their feet. McNeese with the clock at 10. Goes glass right over Hayes, too.
Yeah, you got to just shake his hand for that. That was a nice play by McNeese. Takes his time. Right over the left shoulder in the outstretched hands of Hayes. That was played to perfection on both sides.
Coleman motioning the offense. Sikowski.
Coleman's got to move.
And in. Dillon's got 13 points and 9 boards.
It's the right place to go with Texas. It was more about going at Manning, I think, than it was Osikowski offensively. I think that's a mismatch.
Oklahoma made a run to start the second half, and the Longhorns have responded. Christian James driving to the paint and one.
Boy, that's just strong. How about the presence of mind to use that big body and create a little space?
Got a ball game here at the Irwin Center. Jackson Hayes making his presence felt here in the second half. Horns up 58-57. The court earlier this week in practice after colliding with another player, but he sure looks healthy tonight. 21 points to lead the way for Texas.
Well, Alex, you talking about practice? You talking about practice? This young man here has been special tonight, and it's all in his head, frankly. And there the numbers speak for themselves in terms of his impact, going toe-to-toe with Christian James, the lead guard for OU. But Roach has been absolutely spectacular coming off of the slight injury that he had in practice.
Helping Texas go on a 10-4 run to put him up by 1 with just over 7 minutes to go here at the Irwin Center.
Yeah, and you see that split screen. Your best players have to get you over the top. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Those two as good as any for their ball club. And Roach also has a supporting cast, a nice supporting cast, namely Hayes, who's been pretty special here late in this ball game with block shots and finishes around the rim.
Christian James converts the three-point play. 15 of his 20 points have come in the second half. Hayes down low, guarded by McNeese. Febres. Roach hustling for it and gets the offensive board.
Yeah, long shots are going to create long rebounds. Texas has done a great job tonight chasing those down on the offensive end.
Snoop's got 8 rebounds to go with his 21 points. Lobs it up and in, make it 23.
Well, Snoop's a little gimpy, and Coleman tried to foul Bien. Great job by the freshman, seeing that he had numbers. Texas is likely going to get a timeout.
Coleman had a path to the bucket, passed it up.
Well, I think Shaka was actually calling for a timeout. Coleman might have called it off.
Jackson Hayes now with 12 points. Despite the foul trouble, too.
Yeah, and Roach is not 100%. I can tell. He's really gimpy.
Back the other way, McNeese. That one tapped in. Febres was there, Manek was there as well. It's two heavyweights trading blows moment by moment. And with under 5.5 to go, tied at 62.
Well, this young man has just been about as aggressive as I've seen him. You see, slow to get up. You've seen him this aggressive all year long. Jackson Hayes, I mean, at one point he had about 18 baskets in a row right in that area of the floor. He's exceptional on that right block. It's just gotten better and better as the season has moved on. You can almost write it in. He is not going to shoot on that left block. And he gets all of his work done on the right block.
Snoop with the miss from the free throw line cannot give Texas the lead.
Well, Texas, how about Texas goes to a zone, trying to force the shot from over the top.
Odom's over Hayes, doesn't get it to go. Osikowski with another rebound. He's got 10.
Boy, nice move by Shaka to change things up.
Coleman wants movement from Hayes. The freshman responds, feeds him in the lane, and foul.
Hands. I mean, I just can't say enough about his hands. If you throw it in the area, he's going to catch it. I mean, Ellinger was talking about Lil Jordan. You want to see some hands. Look at that. I mean, often those passes, especially from a college guy at his size, are bobbled, etc. He just, I mean, they're like Velcro.
Texas 14 of 17 from the line. Make it 15 of 18. For Hayes, 13 points in just 18 minutes because of those 3 fouls.
Well, the name of the game for either club will be about stops here down the stretch. Yes, you need some offense. They've got to both rely on what they do well, which is guard. Texas staying in the zone.
That one stolen by Osikowski. He has been everywhere tonight.
Yeah, he's had a nice rebound game-wise from Kansas. It's like a totally different player.
Too much traffic there as Coleman tried to find Hayes. Another look at Osikowski on the defensive end.
The long arms, nothing there. Manek really didn't even have a great angle to receive the ball. James really threw a bad pass.
Osikowski, meanwhile, has his 5th double-double of the year.
Yeah, but Texas is going to stay in this zone until OU scores in it.
Shot clock at 10. Coleman hits the deck. That one swatted away. Bieniemy from the outside, and he drains it. Oklahoma back in front.
Huge basket by the freshman there. How about the poise to knock that down off of a great defensive play by Hayes.
Texas trying to answer with 3.5 to go. Trying to snap a 3-game skid. Shot clock at 5. Osikowski, Febres from the corner, no.
I mean, we saw the graphic earlier with all the close games that Texas has lost by, I think it was 4, by 3 points or less. These are the kind of games where they need execution. Staying in the zone.
Crowd starting to rise up at the Irwin Center. Texas needs a stop. Doolittle in the paint. And a foul on Hayes. That'll be the freshman's 4th.
Yeah, he brought the right arm down. Didn't keep him up above his head, and he got penalized for it.
This one's going to go down to the wire. Horns trailing by 1 at home.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
on the road in conference play as of late, just 2-18 in their last 20 Big 12 road games. Lon Kruger knows this is another one that's going to come down to the wire for the Sooners. They lead by 1 with less than 3 to play, Lance.
And Alex, the counter to that graphic is they're also 3-0 following losses this season. So it can literally go either way. As I mentioned, I think both of these teams are going to have to defend well here down the stretch. And you need execution on both ends, and particularly on the defensive end of the floor.
Doolittle makes 1 of 2. Texas with 4 players in double figures, who will come up big in the final minutes tonight. Febres.
It's a nice play on the pass from Hayes. You got to rotate on Febres hard because he shoots so well. He took advantage and got the finish at the rim.
Christian James working on Snoop. Hayes is there to alter the shot. Febres loses it.
Hands.
Hayes scoops it up and Texas in control.
And there it is again. You saw that ball. It was a loose ball. Who comes up with it easily and corral the ball? And Jackson Hayes.
Snoop's got 23.
How about Texas fans on their feet? Every one of them.
Coleman, shot clock at 5. Osikowski's had a huge night and delivers here with less than 2 to play.
Nice move by Osikowski on the low block. Going at the right person, and Manek just has a size and ability advantage down there on the block.
The freshman Jamal Bieniemy has it poked away by Coleman.
Just a nice, hard, committed spin over the left shoulder.
Shot clock at 8. Bieniemy, freshman coming up with a clutch pressure shot.
And we talked about it earlier. What did we get? We got Coleman being undisciplined, going for a steal. Bieniemy doing the right thing, making him pay. That was huge.
The whistle called on Oklahoma. Bieniemy came up limping a moment after that.
Takes himself out. I mean, and stops and pops. None of the Texas players stepped up either to help Coleman.
And Bieniemy favoring that right knee a little bit after the bucket as he heads over to the bench. So earning his first career start. Bieniemy, he's come up with 8 points.
I mean, how about the confidence Coach Kruger has in Bieniemy, going with him over Kalitsky? And that's pretty impressive.
Making that decision by Lon Kruger look awfully smart as Bieniemy tries to shake off his injury.
Yeah, they're checking to see if this was a 3 or not. That angle,
yes,
hard to tell. You think that was?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I'm not so sure. In that angle, you can't see.
I think his foot was right behind the line.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But we do know if it's inconclusive, the 3 stays. Okay, here we go. This might be our best look. Is that behind?
It appears that way.
Okay, I think your TV is better than mine too. I do.
And you have glasses on too.
You got to call me out.
Oklahoma, by the way, they have been red hot from downtown in this half. 4 of 6 from behind the arc.
Most uncontested like that. Although I know Coleman was coming up behind him, but
leading scorers in this one. Christian James, 4th leading scorer in the conference, has 20 points tonight for Oklahoma. For Texas, Snoop Roach with 23.
I mean, it may seem like a little thing. You were right. It was a 3. It may seem like a little thing, but these are the kind of things that can compound and be the difference in winning and losing a game like this. Texas against Kansas, Febres missed a dunk at the end of the half, and they end up losing by 2. And Texas did. So, I mean, you need every single inch you can get. Going back to Shaka's point, you just need one more of everything to get it done.
So they called it a 3. Coleman responds by making 2 huge free throws. And Texas up by 1 with a minute to go.
Yeah, and Texas back in the man, out of the zone. They'll play them straight up.
Oh, that one bobbled out of play by one of the best players in the conference, Christian James.
Yeah, and I really think that had to do with the pressure from Roach, because he took his eye off the ball and turned right towards Roach and dribbled right off his foot.
Texas trying to hang on against the rival Sooners. By the senior Christian James of Oklahoma.
If you've ever heard your coach say you catch the ball with your eyes, watch this. Stop it. Look at his eyes. He's not even looking at the ball, and guess what? On James, it comes right off his hands and then rolls off of the leg. Young fellas, you've got to catch the ball with your hands, look the ball into your hands, and then proceed with what you're doing. It can happen in one natural motion, but you don't want to take your eyes off the ball in the way that James did. And I think that was created by Roach. Roach was applying a level of pressure that we hadn't seen in this half, which forced James to look for where the defense was and created the turnover.
James is their leading scorer, but in the last minute of play, he committed that turnover, and before that fouled Matt Coleman. That led to 2 free throws.
Yeah, it's a game of mistakes, but at this stage of the game, you've got to have a steady hand and play solid on either end of the floor and execute. Make your opponent beat you.
Hayes falls down in the paint, gets back up.
Look at the spacing here. Looks like Coleman will create something.
Goes by the freshman, finds Febres in the corner, and he comes up huge.
Wow, what a play. Great spacing by Texas.
Bieniemy answers, and he needs help off the court.
Yeah, it looks like potentially a cramp, maybe. I mean, with the way that the right leg is just dead straight.
Well, he's played a lot of minutes, 36 tonight.
Yeah,
for a kid who never started all season long.
Yeah, I think that's a cramp.
All 11 of his points have come in the second half. This one pulls Oklahoma back to within 1.
Boy, that's a big-time basket by the freshman Bieniemy. And he hurt himself. I mean, how about that?
His 3rd three-pointer of the night. He has hit 2 big trays in the waning moments of this contest.
I mean, hats off to Bieniemy. I mean, he has been, along with James, of course, in the second half, but been the heart and soul, in my estimation, for this ball club. I mean, when you look at it statistically, I mean, they've only got 6 turnovers. He's played the point 36 minutes, made some big baskets. I mean, this young man has had a tremendous performance in a hostile environment against a very difficult and tough Texas ball club.
You can see how much pain the Katy, Texas native is in. So here we go. 21.5 seconds to go. The Longhorns hanging on by 1.
We're listening to the Rocky music, looking at Bieniemy laying on the ground with what looked like a cramp. I mean, it literally is reminding me of a slugfest boxing match. See, they're trying to get some fluids in him.
Well, it doesn't look like he'll be able to make it back out on the court for the final seconds, as he has to be helped off by his teammate, Jamuni McNeese.
But yeah, now and they'll have to go to Kalitsky, and there's a huge size difference. With Texas up by a point, they'll foul, have to put someone on the line.
Roach looking for help and calls time.
I mean, you got no shot clock. 21.5 seconds left. They're going to pressure them. They'll probably go for the steal. OU will early. And then after that, if they don't get the steal, they'll have to foul because, Alex, you want to turn this into a free throw shooting contest and extend the game as long as you can if you're OU right now because you're down.
Texas shooting 86% from the free throw line tonight. Quickly, let's take a look at the StubHub. Your ticket out, upcoming schedule. Texas in the thick of Big 12 play. TCU on Wednesday night they'll face on ESPNU. At Georgia on ESPN2 on the 26th. Kansas, who went down earlier today, Iowa State, and Baylor on February 6th here on LA10. The Bears beat Texas Tech this evening as well.
Life in the Big 12.
So here we go, the fans on their feet. They have seen a heck of a game tonight, hoping the Horns can close it out. Roach gets it to Coleman, and they do foul. So Matt Coleman will head to the free throw line, shooting on the season 74% from the charity stripe heading into this game. And a big 5th foul from the leading scorer on Oklahoma, Christian James. He is done for the night.
That's huge. And that's huge in a number of ways because on the perimeter, they rely on him so much. As in James, so someone else is going to have to step up.
Well, what a quick recovery for Jamal Bieniemy, the freshman, after appearing to have cramps moments ago. Looked in extreme pain. It's back out on the court. Texas, meanwhile, has been much improved from the free throw line as of late in their last 4 games, shooting 83%.
Yeah. Coleman, a 73% free throw shooter. And as a point guard, you've got to be able to knock down free throws at the later stages of games to win them. I mean, that 73%, it's important, but not more important than how you can get it done at the end of games. When the pressure's on, when it matters, in terms of making the difference in wins and losses.
First miss of the night for Coleman. Makes the second 2-point game. Here comes Bieniemy. From downtown. Rolls around and out, and Jackson Hayes with a huge rebound.
Yeah, and having Hayes inside, you almost knew that they would look to get a look from the perimeter, and I think the right guy took the shot.
I was going to say, you think that's the shot they wanted, rushing down the court, taking a 3 right away when you're only down 2?
Well, it's the who drove that. And the fact that Bieniemy's the one who took the shot, I think they'll take it. I mean, this game's not over. You got 10.4 seconds left. You're down 3 now. I mean, you certainly had to get a quick look, and he had made 2 prior shots.
Jackson Hayes sitting on 15 points.
Do you foul now? I foul early. I don't allow him to get the 3 off.
Calixte off the side of the iron. Rebound by Doolittle. No, and Texas takes down the Sooners.
That's a huge win for Texas. This is typical Texas basketball. Right about when you think there's 0 life left in them, they rise up, and all of a sudden, they're back and alive. It's amazing how much this team will bounce back, or how much Shaka's teams bounce back.
I think I need a defibrillator after that one. We will talk to the head coach coming up in mere moments on Texas Game Day Final. as Texas takes down the Sooners. They swept Oklahoma last year. Oklahoma still hasn't won at the Irwin Center since 2015. This is a 75-72 victory for the Longhorns. Snoop Roach, the leading scorer with 23 points. Dylan Osikowski with the double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds as the Longhorns improve to 11-7. Here's the eyes of Texas.
Longhorn fans, Texas stole the ball